guys? It's your boy Corey.
It's your boy John.
And welcome back to the Artist Your Job, where we feature stories from today's rising artists.
Yes, sir.
If you like being inspired, don't miss out on our weekly episodes. So be sure to hit that subscribe button and bell notification to be notified when we drop new episodes.
Let's go.
Guys, we're going to dive right in. Hopefully you love this, bro. Our guest today is a singer and member of the upcoming metal band Gold Souls. He's a versatile artist, spinning rhymes by day and by night. His screams will send shivers down your spine.
Yes, sir.
Guys, please welcome our guest, Dre Tamashi.
Dre, let's go.
Appreciate you, bro. Did you like that? Yeah, so he wanted me to write his intro.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I was like, are you sure, bro? He was like, yeah, you got this. I was like, all right, I'll give it a try. So that's what I came up with.
I kept putting it off because I was like, I saw you were like, oh, give us the intro and the photos, and I was like, oh, here's a photo, and I was like, I don't know, like I know who I am, I guess, but I'm like, I'm more curious about like
what other people know about you.
You know, we ended up, you asked me to be on the show. I'm like, all right, why?
Yeah,
you know, so I'm just like, what caught the attention? What is it?
Right.
And I'm like, that's the interesting thing.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's true. That's a good point.
I get. I could probably say some shit that's not even gonna like catch anyone's attention.
Yeah,
you know
for sure.
I
get what you're saying. That's actually a cool point. Nobody's ever mentioned that.
Really?
Or pointed that out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, nobody's ever pointed at that. Yeah, so it's a different perspective of things. So
it's
actually, I give you props for doing that.
It's definitely the tattoos and the hair. That's why we got you on here.
You already know, bro. No,
tatted and hair guy.
Definitely more than that. Like I said, you're such a dope artist. You know, you're super versatile, and you know, we're gonna get right into it. But before we do, let's get into the fucking drink of the day.
All right, the drink of the day is actually our first Moscow Mule.
It's a Moscow Mule.
Yeah, so this is a peach Moscow Mule.
Okay.
So I did a peach snaps, which is like peach flavored infused alcohol.
Yeah.
And then I put some peach juice, peach puree, and then I just topped it off with some ginger beer and garnished it with a little mint, and honestly, that's it. And a little bit of lime.
I could have sworn we had a Moscow Mule before, though.
No, I never made one.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I made something with ginger beer before, but it wasn't a Moscow Mule. I forgot what it was called.
It's super well done because the ginger beer, like I was tasting something a little bit fruity, but like round. no pun intended.
Hey, let's go.
But like in the flavor, you know what I mean? And then also like that little bit of spice that the ginger beer gets. But my thing about ginger beer is that it usually smacks you right in the face. You know what I mean? And so this is like a really nice like. That's what it is. You know
I'm glad you noticed. Yeah, because like I'm not really a big ginger guy. Like I like ginger drinks like Canada Dry, ginger ale, and things like that. But
so good.
But when it comes to like Moscow Mules, I normally don't order it when I go to a bar because it's too much ginger. Yeah. But this one I feel like it matches the peach and just kind of like rounds it out, like you said.
For sure.
Yeah. There you go.
Okay, let's
All right,
toast.
cheers.
Let's cheers to this.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
Yes, sir.
Good podcast.
Let's go.
Oh, that is good. That's
like that?
That's actually pretty dangerous.
Yeah,
that is pretty dangerous.
Yeah, it has about like 2.5 shots in there. So
you already know.
Was it that alcohol that you got?
No, I used what vodka I used. I used a different brand of vodka. Oh, I just used Grey Goose actually.
Oh, Grey Goose. Okay.
Grey Goose.
Yeah. Shout out Grey Goose.
Don't you got a big ass bottle of Grey Goose?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, damn, that shit lasts forever.
I do.
For sure.
Always on deck.
I know. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get into it. So, you know, of course, we always got to start off with some generic ass questions here on the Artist Your Job. You know, so your artist name, Dre Tamashi. Because I also found your other profile, Andre Tempfer. What kind of led you into going like your artist name Dre Tamashi? Because Tamashi definitely sounds like Asian or Japanese inspired.
Yeah, it's Japanese.
Yeah.
It's Japanese word for soul. There's a couple different ways to spell it, so I just chose the one with like the little fancy little character on it. But I'm just like I am not Japanese. I'm putting that out there for anyone. I'm not. But I am a huge fan of Japan, of Japan's culture. Not just anime, but I do love anime.
Yeah, let's go.
I almost wore my Naruto shirt today. I took everything and not to. I wore it for like the past 2 days. I need to watch this shit.
I know how you feel, bro. I'm like that too. I wear like the same shit like over and over again.
Same shorts, same shirt, everything.
You find a good outfit, you run with it.
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
that's what I'm saying.
So anyways, I was like, no, I'm gonna give it a break. But yeah, so it's Japanese for the word soul, which is like, I don't know. I just always end up coming back to that. Like even the band is called Gold Souls. So it's just like, I am almost, you could say, obsessed with the afterlife, and not in like a super dark way. Obviously, I dive into that, especially with the band. We dive into it like in a dark sense and a dark topic. way. But yeah, so that's what that stands for.
Okay.
And I've been to Japan twice, been to Osaka, Kyoto, Tokyo, love it. And like me and the whole fam definitely plan on like, you heard about being bi-coastal. Like we want to be bi-country. Like, like, we want to have a place in Japan for sure. It's pretty difficult to like get a visa and stay out there as Americans, but we're gonna make it happen.
No, that's
that
dope.
sounds dope.
The fact that you brought up like the afterlife and stuff, so I'm really into paranormal, ghosts. Are you into that shit?
Probably. Yes, I am. But I'm a little bit more skewed towards like the alien type thing.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
That's
So
where
I'm like super into that stuff. I am also into the idea of ghosts and the topic of it, and we could definitely talk about it. But I'm not just like, I don't believe in it. I'm not like a hard stance on almost anything in life.
For sure.
But like that for sure. I'm like, I don't understand. Okay, hold on. I take that back. There's a book called Journey of Souls, and it's honestly the book gives me anxiety. I haven't finished it, and I've had it for like 2 years because every time I go down to every time I sit, it'll be that kind of interview, guys. You heard my music. Right? Every time I sit down to read it, I literally get so like. I don't want to say pumped up, I feel like is the wrong word, but it's like I need to backtrack. Journey of Souls is a book about, if you don't know about it, it is a book about a hypnotherapist who accidentally discovered how to, like they've been doing hypnotherapy their whole lives and bringing people into remission of their, remission is probably the wrong word. I am not a therapist. But they're bringing people back to their traumas and helping them like realize what their traumas are.
Ashwagandha shit.
Kind of, yeah. So like just trying to figure out where their like issues are coming from.
Okay.
And they accidentally went into before the person was born.
Oh shit.
And they're like, what is happening right now? And then they were like, okay, well, let me just keep playing around with this. And they ended up going into the previous life of the person, which I've always been kind of like about, and I still am, but this book nevertheless definitely gives it some credibility. And this person is basically just did it with a bunch of patients and then wrote a book about it with whatever patients gave him consent, and him or her, I don't know who it was, sorry. But anyways, all that to say, they just talk about like, they just talk about what that person had gone through in their past lives, etc. And I forgot why we're talking about this, but
no, it's all good. No, it went from ghosts to a book.
Well, okay, so I guess thank you so much, guys. My point to that is a lot of these people, like, so basically the therapist is asking them to talk through their process of like dying and what their soul is going through as they leave their body and the panic that they're going through because you're realizing you're dead.
Yeah.
Right.
And there's so much that's like weighing on you in that moment, and some people will opt to like stay for some bit of time. And so that was the first bit of like, oh shit, like now I kind of understand ghosts a little bit. Yeah. Because otherwise it's just this thing you hear about when you're a kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like it's not tangible unless you've had like experience.
Yeah. So you
like,
never had a ghost encounter or anything?
Have you had any weird shit like happen to you that's unexplainable?
As I get older, I question whether or not it was real. I don't know if you guys ever had anything like this, but I have had a situation when I was very young where I got up out of my bed, and I used to do this thing where like I don't know, tell me, please tell me I'm not alone. I would like get up and I would play like, all right, make it around the house without an adult catching you. You know what I'm saying? Like while it's night. And so like whether the parents would be up like with their friends or just by themselves watching their TV, I would be like, and I would try to like scurry around the kitchen. I'd be like, and I try to scurry back to my room, but like, mission accomplished. Right? So I did that while they were asleep once, right? And I was just like, I don't remember what the goal was, but I was just doing that. And I walked out from my bedroom, went out the hallway, and then in our living room is where the doorway is for the front of the house. And I just remember like the light turned on, like as if someone was like walking up or whatever. And I was like, and then the door like, and then like opened, and there was no one there. And then it just went. And I was like, fuck this.
That's a fucking ghost, bro.
I went straight to my room. I threw the covers over my head like as if that was going to save me, right? Like, and usually a kid, I was like, ah.
Yeah, for sure.
And so that was again, as I get older, I wonder if that was just like a crazy realistic dream. I'm so detached from it now. It was so long ago. But if that was real, that was probably my one experience with a ghost.
See, I mean, for me, like I've had multiple weird encounters with like paranormal shit that I'm pretty sure is paranormal.
Do
but
tell.
there's a lot. I would love to tell you, but oh my god, there's too much.
It would be a whole different.
It would be a
podcast.
whole different. No, you know what? You know what? We're gonna have to have you back on the Halloween episodes because on Halloween episodes,
that's when we get
we get into that shit. Absolutely. Like no joke. So I think having you back on it makes sense too. You love like you love like the afterlife and the thought about like stuff like that. I think it would be dope to have you on.
What was one of the most? It doesn't have to be the most, but what was one of the most memorable or impactful?
Okay, so I'll tell you like the most creepiest experience I've ever had. So this goes back to my job back home in Seattle. So we're both from Seattle.
It's in the that's that right?
In the logo.
Dude, I'm so good.
You saw the real, bro.
That was like either that or Toronto.
I know.
One of the two.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so at my old work, I was doing assembly work like for medical machines and stuff like that, and it was a big ass warehouse. We had a bottom floor, a top floor, and all different departments. So in my department assembly, there's another department. What is it? Forget what they call it. It's like where you cut up all the metals and fabrication. Fabrication. So we're just right next to each other, and I work the late shift. I was working pretty much the swing shift. I work up until almost 12 at midnight, right? So it'd be like 3 to 12 at midnight. Anyways, story goes, and this is legit. Years ago, I think it was like in the 90s or something, some guy that was working in the fabrication area had put in a piece of metal, whatever, machine got stuck, put his head in there, cut off his head. And this is a legit story. It's been confirmed by the people that work there and the higher ups and stuff like that. So as far as I know, the place is pretty haunted. So one night, like I said, this was probably 10 or 11 a.m. PM. I go to the fabrication department to their bathroom because the ones in our place, it's fucking terrible. So I went over there, and the thing is, they have a shower room in that specific one. Really? Yeah. So when you walk in, you could see like the shower room and everything. So I walk in, lights are turned off, and then they turn back on. The sensor and shit. They turn on, and all of a sudden, I see the shower curtain close, but I see feet pointing outwards, and that shit fucking scared me already. I was like, what the fuck? So I'm about to go take a piss, and I'm still looking back. I was like, what the fuck?
So there's someone in the shower.
That's what I thought. So then after I'm done doing my thing, the shit was gone. Shit disappeared. Nobody's feet was in there. The shower wasn't on or anything. I was fucking terrified. I
forgot about that story.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that's one of my
stories.
Yeah, I tell that story quite a few times.
Yeah.
That shit had me scared, and not gonna lie, that's definitely the creepiest experience I've ever had. There's others, but that was definitely the creepiest one I've ever had.
Yeah. Bro.
Yeah.
You heard no footsteps, no nothing.
No, it was like I said, the feet were just pointing outwards underneath the shower curtains.
No.
Yeah.
Wow, I get so like.
Yeah, I know.
Was it like white feet?
Yeah.
Was it pale?
No, it was like pale.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it was fucking creepy. That's all I can tell you. That I would love to tell you all the other ones, but we're gonna save that for Halloween.
Bro, just leave. Leave Earth, bro. Leave Earth. You don't need to be here now.
I know.
I like how he saw the foot and it kept taking a piss.
Right.
No, because I had to insure myself, like, cause it fucking scared me. And by the time I was done, bro, that shit was gone, and I had like the hair standing up on my skin.
Was the curtain still closed?
It was still closed. Yeah. That shit is fucking. Bro, trust me.
I'm also really bad with like horror movies. Like I don't
watch horror movies.
Dude, pussies unite.
Yeah.
No, you're good. Don't worry. Like I said, we're definitely gonna talk more on Halloween because I have some questions for you for sure. That doesn't revolve around artistry, but
we'll bring it all together.
Yeah, we're gonna bring it together for sure. So doing some research obviously on both of your pages, Gold Souls and stuff. I saw you guys are from Florida, right?
Yeah.
So you're not originally from LA. So what kind of gravitated you guys to move to LA? I'm assuming obviously music, but is there something else that kind of had you guys move out this way?
I think it started, so I can speak for Me and my brother. So the band is 3 guys.
Yeah.
But me and my brother, he's my younger brother by 3 years. We look like twins now. Now that
I
we're
know,
all grown up.
bro. I gotta get into that too.
Well, I just had a meeting with a guy yesterday, which I'm sure we'll get into later. But he was like looking through our TikToks and stuff, like for branding and stuff.
Yeah.
And he was like, I was like, oh no, like that, like there's videos with him. He's like, I'd love to see more of like your other members. I was like, well, you just scrolled past like 3. I was like, he was like, what? And I told him which one. He's like, oh, I guess that is a different guy.
Bro, trust me, I got that same exact thing. Oh my god, I'll talk about it for sure.
Yeah. So we played metal bands of different types all growing up, probably since we were 14. Well, since I was 14, he's been playing drums since he was like 11. Like to the point where like he would get made fun of. Like we would get made fun of when we roll up to a venue and we start loading in our shit, and they're like, like people are like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
A bunch of kids.
Yeah, and then he rips them apart. Like,
Yeah.
Like at the time, especially, he was super into like. We were both super into like death metal and stuff like that. So he had this crazy fucking kit that like with like a whole rack of like drums and toms and cymbals and shit, and he would just rip it apart. So we've been doing that since then, and then that band was doing really well. That band was called I Kept Silent, and I'm still proud of that work at the time. But we released one, I think, like EP, and did really well in the Tampa music scene. We were like climbing towards, like, I don't want to say we were at the top, but we were like near there. And it was just kind of like a realization moment when we saw, this is so out of left field, we saw The Weeknd live on his second tour ever. So it was Kissland tour.
Oh, okay.
And I have some, actually, they just did a 10 or 20 year anniversary.
Oh, damn.
And I just copped a bunch of merch. I was
let's go.
wearing something.
Yeah, for sure.
But anyway, so that was, we saw that concert live, and it was like, it completely blew the top off of our imaginations of what was possible. Up in that point, we've seen like, rock musicians doing this one thing that made it this far.
Right.
And we saw how far, like, and we knew he wasn't even done. You know what I mean? Like, obviously he went on to
for sure.
crazy, like one of the biggest artists in the world.
Right.
So at that moment, I was just like, this dude's got like giant LCDs of like porn, this cartoon character. He was like making the show extremely dynamic and extremely bright at certain moments, dark and just one spotlight on him in certain moments. Then he'd bring out a band, and it was like, what the fuck is actually happening? Like, I remember we were walking to our car after that, and we were just like kind of quiet for a little bit.
Yeah.
And I remember we just turned to each other like, okay, like we gotta change it up.
Right.
So the band was already on its way to disband at that point. So we were like, all right, once that's done, we play our final show. Let's just get our shit together. He graduated high school early, and we just moved out to LA.
Okay.
That was the idea, and it never works out this way. But the idea is you just move to LA, and there's bigger possibilities.
Right. That's what everyone thinks. Yeah.
It's so not that way.
No, it's not.
Especially
It's
nowadays. It might even be the opposite.
Yeah.
I would say if you're thinking about moving to LA, unless you have like a really good reason to move to LA, and unless you have really good connections in LA already,
Exactly.
Right.
or you are so well established and already living off of your music or whatever your artistry is, then you can maybe move to LA, and that makes sense.
Yeah.
Just know it's going to cost a lot more.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
And then it makes sense, because I've been out here for probably, it's coming up on like, I'm around 9 years. I don't know exactly.
Oh, shit.
when I'm at.
Yeah. Okay.
So, and I'm finally just starting to get a little bit of traction on both my solo career and the band.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's just like, but we just, move out here. We're going to move to LA. We're going to do something crazy, something much bigger without a ceiling, like metal. And also metal was pissing us off at the time because of the culture. That's a longer story. But so we were just like, all right, cool. We tried it. It flopped hard. It was still called Gold Souls, but we erased everything off of the streaming services and everything that we did originally. And we were like, okay, we'll come back to this. I started Dre. And then a little bit later, our boy in New York, who actually, funny story, filled in on guitar for our last band's last show. So we'd been friends with him. We had written a little bit. But we moved to LA. He moved back to New York, and then we had just been FaceTiming a lot, talking about guitars, and then he had sent us some demos, and we were like, these are fire. And so I was just like, I'm going to lay down some vocals on these. And then one thing led to another, and we had a body of work basically. And we were like, what do you think about moving to LA? Yeah. And so we did that for like 2 years and kind of collected the base that we have so far.
That's dope. Yeah, I mean, we've been out here 5 years now.
Nice.
And like I said, because I was the original one that wanted to move out here. After finishing film school, graduating, I was like, I need to be out here in Hollywood and LA, because in Seattle they don't got this kind of shit. It's not where I would be able to progress with my career and stuff like that. And, John, we've been best friends for a long time, almost like 12 years already.
Shout out to you guys sticking together.
Of course,
right?
bro.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
Love at first sight.
I
Down
don't know
for
about
whatever.
that. I don't know about that.
Should have had the baby with me.
He sounded pretty confident.
I don't know about that, but no,
Thruple? Got a thruple?
He's choking a little bit. He's choking.
Choking, dude?
Don't listen to this guy, right? Don't listen to this
I
guy.
like listening to him, dude.
Yeah. I've been waiting for my moment. It's my moment to shine right now.
Hell no. Okay.
Yeah, now we're talking.
No, fuck that shit. Okay, so yeah, I mean, like I said, I made him the offer. I was like, hey, bro, I'm trying to move to LA. I'm trying to pursue filmmaking and videography and all that shit. And at that time, he was pretty much learning photography under me and stuff like that. So I was like, bro, you down to move out to LA? Because I feel like this is where we need to fucking be to actually progress in our career. And he himself, like, he was not sure. He was not sure whether about moving to LA would be the right thing for him. It took him like a month or something.
No, it probably took me like 2 years, I think.
No,
we were talking about it like off and on.
We were probably talking, but and then when I was like, bro, let's fucking do it, that's where it kind of took like a month.
Right.
It took him a little bit of time to finally decide. Yeah, okay,
There's a difference between talking about it and being like, yo, I'm actually about to do this.
Yeah, exactly. And it took him about a month before deciding, okay, let's fucking do it. So he ended up getting a job out here before I did. So he moved out here, and then I think a couple weeks later, I finally got something. And like I said, you got to have a fucking job out here in LA.
Right,
like
we're normal 9 to 5.
Like you were kind of talking about, you can't move out here and expect to blow up with your career. Like, you literally have to have a regular 9 to 5, whatever it is. I mean, obviously,
any form of income.
Any form of income, you need that shit to push your career to the next level. That's what you got to do, and that's what a lot of people don't talk about a lot, because obviously there's that facade and stuff like that.
Ego thing, and all of us have it. I have it. I still work a job.
Yeah,
this is me knifing my ego in the back. I still work a job. Right? Like,
most of us do.
And I don't think anybody should be ashamed of it. Like,
I hate it.
I mean,
No, I mean, obviously, I don't want to work a 9 to 5, but I think it's just like, some people that are on social media, they're ashamed that, like, they have like thousands of followers, but and then they still have like a 9 to 5. And it is what it is, and that's fine. If people are scared to talk about it just because
they just
of that fact.
flex.
They want to flex.
Put a
on
persona
social media.
on.
Exactly. But I
get it too.
Yeah, no, I understand it too. But yeah, like I said, I totally agree with you. When moving out here, it's like you definitely have to either build your reputation up already, and that's what I was doing back home, shooting so much music videos and shooting so much photos. Then I finally made connections out here, because if I didn't do that beforehand, it would have been difficult to start meeting people out here. So I did that like a year or so before I even intended to move out here.
You were coming out here and doing that
I was literally making connections on Instagram. So like a year before. Yeah, once I started making those connections, I moved out here, started shooting immediately. Started shooting with all the people I've connected with immediately. So that's kind of where things started slowly building up for me, and now I know all the people I know, and like I said, that's the number one tip, and we've mentioned this to other people on the podcast. Like, move out here with good intentions. Don't come out here for like partying and shit, because people will definitely get caught up in.
So easy.
Yeah, it's so easy.
It's easy to get caught up in that life, but LA is definitely one of those places where it's either you're going to be a success or you're going to be a fail, and you'll move back home.
Yeah.
And I told him, I was like, I'm not trying to move back home. I'm trying to get shit going here. And, we've been doing well here, and I love LA. Obviously, there's still a lot of weird shit that happens out here that, you got to get used to. But other than that, LA is a great place to make connections. I mean, look at you, bro. Like, we're homies out here, and, it's dope. It's dope making connections with all these artists and stuff like that, and networking, and that's what I love about LA.
But also being surrounded by like-minded people,
For
because
sure,
it really pushes your craft when you could build off of each other rather than like trying to build something out of nothing, you know, because you're the person like driving the whole thing. So being in a city where like everybody is like-minded, it really pushes you into a different level.
I've been struggling with that a lot, actually, because I've been missing that aspect. You know what I mean? Like, I think that was part of the reason why I moved out here, and it was part of the thing that I ended up loving about this city. But I ended up moving to Pasadena, and I love Pasadena so much.
Oh yeah, it's so nice.
It's nice over there.
Nice. It's quiet.
It's spacious,
dude, and affordable for the most part.
Right.
And also just a stone's throw away from the city. Like, I can come do stuff like this with you guys, and it's not a major cramp on my day.
Facts.
Or I can go, like, I also act as well, so I can go to set and work on that kind of stuff, or whatever I need to do. Like, I can do it. But also something that happened once I moved to Pasadena is I became a complete hermit, and this is also probably part of COVID is what did this. But like, I just became a complete hermit, and then now I'm not surrounded by anyone else other than like my pack, which is very small. Like, as my friend group.
It's good. It's good to keep it small.
It's good.
Not gonna lie.
It's good. It's good, and it's also, I think the part that I miss though is like what you're talking about, is being surrounded by like-minded people. It's like, I am surrounded, but like I'm not completely surrounded. There's not that many.
For sure.
There's not enough people to surround me. So it's like, it is interesting, but there are that type of people out here that you could be surrounded by, but there's also so many people who are just like either fake, don't know themselves,
100%.
Don't know themselves. There's so many people who are just like,
trust
that,
me, bro.
You know?
We definitely know that too. You know, so it's definitely a learning curve moving out here, and trying to figure things out and trusting people. And
you guys just made it over the hump. I always give people like 2 to 3 years, and so you're like in year 5. You're chilling.
We're good. Trust me. I know where you're coming from though.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like you're two different people, bro. Like I said earlier, you're on one hand, you're your own artist. You do like rap, hip hop, you sing, and then on the other hand, you're in a group, obviously Gold Souls, which we'll kind of talk more about later. But you're the screamer singer of the group. But I like, I'm a fan of the music you've been putting out. Which of the genres that you're doing right now like fell first into your lap? Like the hip hop, the metal? Because it's crazy how you're so versatile with going the metal route, and then you're going hip hop.
Yeah, metal for sure. I grew up on rock. My my parents are just rock, like classic rock people through and through. So like, I grew up on like, some people might not know a lot of these bands. Obviously, a lot of people probably know Journey, right? So Journey, Aerosmith, etc. But then there's some more other bands. Like, one of my favorite bands growing up that really like set the tone for me musically is this band called Queensryche, and it was just this like, they had their moment, and it was like this classic rock band. It was so dark and it was so vibey, and just like, I was like, oh. So then that was like what I grew up on, and then that went into, and of course like Foreigner. There's a bunch of just classic rock in general, and then that moved into like, alternative, and then emo, and then screamo, and then like metalcore, and then like death metal, and then like it just kept progressing to getting like heavier and heavier and heavier.
Yeah, for sure.
And so I've never stopped loving the previous stuff. So I was classic rock all the way to death metal. Everything in between I loved. There's a specific subgenre, I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, it's called metalcore. And that is kind of where I landed. That is like where my heart sits. That's where Gold Soul sort of lies. And it's just the perfect balance to me of like being able to do kind of whatever you want, being able to be like poppy in moments if we want to, but also being able to do like these crazy fucking death metal-esque like screams and breakdowns if we want to, and it's accepted by the community. So it's the most like experimental without being experimental.
Is that a new genre or
not at all? Okay. It's been around since I don't know if you guys know this band Bullet My Valentine, Kill Switch Engage. There's a bunch of these like metalcore bands that really set the tone. Under Oath. So that's the only band I have a tattoo of, Under Oath. But so anyway, so there's a lot of these bands that are like in this particular subgenre that are just like, that is what set the tone for our bands, like any of my bands that had any meaning, really. And then it was the Weeknd show, or when my friends started putting me on to the Weeknd, that I was like, oh, this shit's kind of fire. I didn't quite get it at first, because he was talking about like nothing in metal, at least at that time, really talking about like sex.
Sex.
Yeah, and I thought it was really dumb. I thought it was really stupid to be talking about sex. So I really, first time I heard The Weeknd, I was like, stupid. And that was one of my favorite artists. So it says something. But I was like, dumb. And then I just kept coming around. And then like I was talking to this girl, and she would always put the Weeknd Pandora station on whenever we'd be hanging out at night. And so we'd be smoking, just chilling. And I'd be like, oh man, this this guy's kind of a vibe.
Kind of grew on you.
Yeah, dude. And then the next thing I knew, I was smoking by myself watching the Weeknd videos, right? And then he announced the tour. That's when we saw the tour.
Okay.
That changed everything for me and my brother. That introduced me into R&B and hip hop.
Okay.
And that led into like Drake, and that led into Party Next Door, and just blew the cap off of that genre. Nothing had ever drawn me into that genre or that side of music at all up until then.
That's
so it was
crazy.
definitely metal first, and then the Weeknd introduced me to you name it.
So you've been doing hip hop R&B for about almost 10 years?
No, no. Hip hop R&B, I started doing it actively in like 2018.
Oh, so damn. So it's only been about 6 years or so.
Yeah, I just started.
Bro, I'm not going to lie. It sounds like you've been doing it for a minute, though, because your flows, your rhymes, like, bro, it's fucking dope.
For real.
I really appreciate
You really got
that.
that pen, for sure.
No, for sure.
Yeah, that songwriting.
Thank you guys. I appreciate that a lot. I struggle with my acceptance of it a lot because I think it's imposter syndrome a little bit. You know, it's like I know I come from metal. I know I'm like a metal kid at heart, and that's not like hip hop isn't my background, and I don't ever want to pretend like it is.
For sure.
Right.
But I love it.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
there's nothing you can do about that at that point. I just love it, and I want to do it. And so that's just where. And then I need to find my place in that world. Is all it really is.
Yeah.
You know, and there's certain songs that are popping off that are really truly the mixture of like the hip hop side of me and the metal. Like that song is like pinned on my TikTok. It's called Havoc, and it's that song is truly the mixture of like what I do in the band and what I do as my own self.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So it's just like, okay, cool. But I mean, that's the content game. You put out stuff, figure out what works, and then kind of go from there. But
no, fire.
Yeah, that's dope, man. You know, I'm glad you mentioned that because that's actually going into my next question. You know, your song Havoc, I think is such a dope song.
Perfect timing.
Perfect timing.
Perfect timing.
You know, it's a blend between different genres, like you said. I think it's like the perfect like representation of like who you are and what you can do on like different sides of you.
For sure.
You know,
bro,
you're definitely you know making your own wave and you know breaking the boundaries. You know, creating your own sound, which is so dope and different. You know, that I've heard in a long time. Originality, you know, is hard to come by these days of like trends and TikTok and all this shit. So, you know, and although us as creatives can appreciate, you know, your originality, I definitely saw in the comments you have some haters.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
For anywhere I go, like on this video, you guys, not guaranteed, but very likely, you guys will get haters.
Really?
Everywhere I go, I don't know what it is. I don't know why. I think it's a confidence thing. I think it's a bit of a confidence thing, a bit of an insecurity thing on their end. But everywhere I go, ever since I can remember, I've had haters. Like I started doing YouTube videos when YouTube was like new. Haters.
Damn.
So since then, which was what, must have been 2015-ish,
right.
somewhere around there, haters.
Damn. What about like growing up, like in your hometown and everything? Did you ever deal with that, or it wasn't until like YouTube, social media?
It was mostly social media, and then towards the end, right before we left, there was a lot of like, I think this was my issue with, that wasn't quite my issue with metal, but yeah, I had it in person. There's like the social dynamics on the scene got really kind of like people pointing fingers of like stupid shit, and it was just like, what are we doing here? Like, aren't we supposed to all be on the same team, and we're all just like ripping each other apart?
Facts.
Like, so I was just like, dude, fuck this. And that was kind of like, it was right at the time when me and my brother were like, we're going to LA anyway. Doesn't fucking matter.
Exactly. Hey, let's go.
So we ended up leaving. But it does feel weird, yeah. But it's like, I don't understand why. Like, it's goofy.
Right.
It's goofy.
Exactly.
I don't understand what you're doing. It's really just a projection of your own insecurity and my confidence. I was gonna say that. But whatever. Like, inflate my engagement, dog. Like,
I know. You're still getting the comments, you know, is it boosting your engagement at the end of the day. So, yeah.
I'm not even a controversial person. When I think about people like MGK, right?
Yeah.
Master instigator, master. Like, I don't even want to be that, right? But it has its upsides. Like, he gets people talking, right? And I'm not trying to be that. I'm actually very like to myself. Like, my social media is very like, I post my artwork.
Yeah.
Right.
I post things that get me going, usually inspirational shit. I think that's really big for me.
Yeah.
You're hating on that.
Exactly.
Like, I don't. That just says.
And I hope that
sure.
they see this podcast and they really see how you're just like a cool ass dude, bro.
Cool ass dude, bro.
Cool ass genuine dude.
That's not the point, though.
Right.
They want my downfall.
Oh yeah, exactly.
And
they want to see it.
Exactly. And so I'm sure we all have it to some degree, but it's just like, cool. Like that is. It's just fuel for me.
Right.
It's just fuel for me. Like if like just like you said, I don't want to go back to my hometown. Like that's sort of like. That's one bit of fuel. Another bit of fuel is like proving everybody wrong. Like that is as insecure as that might be. Like it is a driving factor. Like I said, I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to do it. And then despite everyone saying that I can't do it.
Exactly.
I'm going to fucking do it.
And you're still here 10 years later.
Hey,
let's go. Going strong. Speaking about social media, I did a little deep diving into your old like personal YouTube channel. You posted some of your beats that you produced back in the day. I'm curious to know if you like still self-produce a lot of your own songs now.
Not a lot of them. Okay. No. Purely for time's sake. If it was up to like me, again, this just goes back to like, hey, we work day jobs, so I don't have the time to sit down and write all my own music and put all the time into writing the music. And then also writing the lyrics and the hooks, etc. So it was really random. This guy, Rose, shout out Rose Gold, at Rose Gold on Instagram. He's amazing. He's in Vancouver. Sorry, I forgot that wrong. But I believe it's Vancouver. And he just hit me up one day out of the blue and was just like, hey, really love your music. Would love to like send you some beats. I was like, hell yeah. He sent it to me. And I've had some people send me some stuff like that up until that point, and then they're just kind of, wasn't a match. But this dude was just like of quality, and I was like, okay, sick. And then literally I think every song since then for the most part was like me and him. So he would write the beat and then I would just like sing on it or whatever. And then Havoc, the one that blew up, is the most. I don't want to say blow up. It had a mini viral moment. Yeah. But my most popular song on my own was a beat that he wrote, but that I had chopped up and put my own guitar on. So it was like this mixture of us.
Oh, okay.
And honestly, I would really love to get to a point where I am more involved in writing the production and whatnot. Like my whole first EP was just me.
Okay.
So it has been just me in the past. And when it comes to the band, it's either like we're all self-produced, like it's all self-contained. It's either me, the guitarist, and my brother. Like we all work together. Exactly. So, so again, that's another reason why I had to outsource that. But the answer is, I guess, up until now, not really. It's been me and Rose, and then going forward, I would like to have a mixture of like working with other producers, but also I would love to write more in person with other producers so that it's
a different type of chemistry, fire when you're literally there in the studio with them.
It builds the DNA of the song. And so when you're building the DNA of the song and you had no part in the building of the DNA of the track, I feel slightly disconnected from it, and I think it shows. Like I have no problem in saying that about my own work. I think the disconnection between me and the beats shows. So the moment that I put my fingerprint in it, what happened? It worked. So I'm like, okay, I'm not saying it's me. I'm just saying people are listening to you for you. That's what they want to hear. You know what I mean? So
I want a piece of you.
Exactly. It's important to give people yourself if you're in this line of work.
Exactly.
Otherwise, just don't.
For sure. I want to get into the group, obviously, Gold Souls. And like I mentioned, I think we need to have you guys all here. I think it would be a dope episode. And one thing we talked about it already was your brother Ryan. I couldn't tell you guys apart at first. I'm not gonna lie. I literally thought that you guys were the same people. So I was digging. I did some more deep diving. I was like, wait, what the fuck? Like the only reason I could tell difference was the hair. So the hair was definitely a little bit different. But I was like, you guys look hella like. And I think he has like a, he has a mustache, and stuff like that. Browner. So that's kind of what I was like. Okay, they're definitely brothers. But I was like, the whole time I was thinking it was you until I did a deep dive and I was like, oh fuck, like they're actually two different people. It's crazy for sure. But aside from that, we kind of did already talk about like where Gold Souls originated and stuff like that, but we haven't talked about what made you like the singer or the screamer of the group.
What made me the singer? I don't know. It's just natural.
Was it just a natural thing?
Yeah. So in my last band, I've always done vocals. I've always done vocals and played guitar to some degree. Guitar is my first, drums were technically my first instrument. Guitar was my first instrument that I played in a band, and then I would do like side scream vocals, right? Okay. And then that turned into like, all right, now I'm doing like vocals and guitar completely, and then that turned into, okay, I'm just the front man of a band, like screaming. Actually, my band at the time, I was just screaming.
Oh, really?
So pure, the show's just chaos, screaming, people jumping on top of each other. Ugh, I miss that so much.
People jumping on top of each other.
Dude, it's the one reason why I can't leave metal. Like, metal has an unmatched live energy. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever been to a metal show.
No, never.
I'm taking both of you. It is a promise, and it's not up to you guys.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry, but I will be taking you, and it is just an unmatched live energy that no other genre, like when I saw the Weeknd show, it was amazing, but in a very different way.
Right.
Whereas like metal has just such this energy that's just like crazy, and that's what like, it's this heart pounding energy. So anyways, I was doing vocals for that kind of stuff, but I would also still be writing the songs on guitar. So I wouldn't be performing it live on guitar, but I'd be writing it in the background.
Okay.
And so whenever we ended up doing this stuff, I mean, I've always seen myself as a frontman. My brother is a professional drummer through and through. And so it just, that dynamic just makes sense. And when we ended up partnering up with our guitarist in New York at the time, he just writes guitar. Like, that's just, the guitar is his instrument. Like, he can build a guitar. Damn. That is so much deeper than my knowledge of guitar. You know what I mean? So, and my knowledge of I put a lot of work into how to scream properly. I screamed improperly for a long time. And there is, believe it or not, a right and wrong way to scream. So like, I've put a lot of work into my craft of that. And my brother has done the same thing for the drums, and Danny has done the same thing for his guitar.
Gotcha.
So that the dynamic just makes sense.
For sure.
So I don't know that there was like a deciding like who's going to be the singer. It's just like you're the singing guy and you're the and drums.
Just came naturally.
Yeah. So as a screamer, like, is there, because obviously people that regular scream, it fucking hurts their throat. So like, as a screamer, are there like vocal exercises you do, or like
1,000%?
So treatments, like what's your thing when it comes to like, how
do you prepare?
Yeah, prepare for your voice, or like even soothe it after like doing songs and stuff.
So I'm probably not the best with soothing after, although I think historically, like, tea and honey is a great place to start.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Sure. Don't take advice from me, guys.
Hey, I agree though, because it hurts with sore throats and stuff. So
it's when it comes to scream, how I learned to scream properly. It was largely this lady who's known in the metal scene very well at this time. At this point, her name is Melissa Cross, and you can buy her DVDs. I don't even think she does DVDs anymore. I'm sure it's like an online package. But at the time, I bought the DVD. I bought the first DVD, and then I went through it, and I was like, this is kind of like. And then someone gifted me the second. I think it was my girlfriend at the time. Gifted me the second DVD, and I was like, okay, fine, I'll watch it. And I saw friends were also like posting themselves, like doing the exercises. I was like, okay. And these are like respected friends in the music industry that are, or at least in Tampa who are doing the thing, right? So I was like, okay, like, this is the way to go. So I really sat down and like did all the exercise. I really practiced all the things that she taught. And it's weird to say, but like, she was my first vocal coach. It's a weird parasocial relationship because I've never met her. I would love to. Melissa Cross, if you're out there, I would love to work with you. And now I'm getting to the point where like she's worked with some of my friends, so it's like crazy, so crazy. Cool. But anyway, so that's how I learned how to go from like improperly screaming to like actually properly doing the damn thing. And being able to move from. Actually, she taught me how to sing. It's very weird, but like she's a singing coach. She just understands the fundamentals of being able to put that, what she calls heat, on your voice and not have it hurt. So once I learned that, I also simultaneously learned how to sing properly, like in the way that I sing now.
Okay. Have you ever like damaged your throat or
vocal cords and stuff?
Yeah, I've had a pre-nodule at one point because a lot of the work I do for my day job at one point included a lot of talking.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot of I was overexerting myself. I would do my vocal warm-ups on the way to work, because I just want to get them going. I practice my craft as much as possible to a fault at this point. Okay. So I'm doing my vocal warm-ups on the way to work, overexerting myself at work, talking for 9 hours straight, and then leaving and doing vocal warm-ups again, and then coming home and practicing my vocals.
Okay.
And so eventually, on top of diet, this also leads into a lot of like health and wellness changes that ended up happening for me. But that on top of diet, that plus diet ended up leading to me having a pre-nodule on my vocal cords, which could have gone very bad. But I caught it at a good time. And the doctor basically was like, look, you just need to change your diet, chill the fuck out on the vocal warm-ups all the time, and tell working you chill out and talking as much as you are. And luckily it went away. So if it turned into a nodule, that's a gnarly surgery. I feel like people go through it, like it's so bad. But I've made it past that.
That's good, bro. I'm glad to hear that because obviously you don't want to go through all that shit and that'd be a bitch for sure.
It sucks, dude. I can't imagine.
For sure. Being in a group, do you find it also hard to work on like your personal music? I know it kind of is for sure, but like you working on your personal versus the group stuff, like how difficult is it?
Difficult in what sense?
I guess like writing and like, because I know you're writing your own music and then you're also writing for Gold Souls too.
I guess the balance of it.
Yeah, like how do you balance that?
You don't. You don't ever, bro. Like, you don't ever figure it out. At least, I don't know. I haven't figured it out. I'm 29 years old, almost 30. I haven't figured it out.
Yeah.
Like, I'm doing it. I'm just doing it. Like, for my own music, it is solely, just like we were talking about earlier, it is me based. It is like, the success of Dre Tamashi depends on one thing, and that is how much effort I put into it. The success of Gold Souls depends on the combined effort of me, Ryan, and Danny. So it's a very different thing. However, the good thing about our band is that we all take the reins when we need to. So like for the first, like a lot of our stuff, Danny would write almost like my relationship with Rose. He would write the instrumentals, send it, I would lay the vocals down, Ryan would do his thing on the drums, there's a song. Done. But it was also came to that point where I was like, my fingerprint is not a part of this. And that bothers me creatively. So I'm just like, okay, I want to be more involved, but I don't have the time. And so it's just like this whole thing, you know what I mean? So I'm slowly figuring that part out, but I haven't found it. I'm doing as much as humanly possible while trying to work a job, while trying to make other sources of income that get me out of the job, while doing the band, while doing my stuff. And still trying to have some semblance of a social life, which really doesn't exist at this point.
For sure.
But at least with my brother and with my girlfriend. You know what I mean? It's like, that's the most I can ask for at this point.
No, you know what? Because literally, after seeing all the work you do, I definitely see myself too. Because I have so much things that I'm doing. I do gaming content. I live stream.
Dude, really? I didn't even know that. Oh my god.
Yeah, dude. I do gaming content. I live stream. I do photography, videography.
Yeah, I knew that.
I got my YouTube channels. That we got artistry job. I got a baby, bro. So I feel you. Like it's a lot of work.
Can I ask you?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm taking this. How has having the baby been? And I mean in every sense, but I also mean in like I'm a hustling type individual, entrepreneur. I have no time already. Oh, you're having a kid.
Yeah, I know.
What does that look like?
It's crazy. Like I said, it's big shout out to my fiance, of course. Like she knows what I'm doing. So she does take the bigger load of things, obviously taking care of her. Because when I'm at work, she's at home just taking care of the baby.
Is she on like a leave for pregnancy?
Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. She's gonna be on a leave for a while, anyway. So I think she's waiting until our daughter's 6 months old, which is perfect. I think she's only 2 months now, 3 months. So I think that's a good enough amount of time. But definitely, she has been the big help in letting me do what she knows I do best, create all the content. But like I said, it's definitely hard, and he sees me doing all this shit, and he's even asked me too, like, how do you do it, bro? Like, and I'm not gonna lie, it's fucking tough. Like, I'm trying to get out of a full-time job as well. I'm trying to do.
It's the fucking bane of our existence.
Exactly, it is. I'm trying to do this shit full-time, and it's so crazy. And you know what? We're literally just starting a new YouTube channel too. So it's like,
well, what this needs?
Yeah,
Another thing on my
exactly.
plate.
Yeah, so it's like, oh my god, bro.
It was his idea.
Yeah,
it wasn't me. I was like, okay.
That's our problem.
Yeah, no, the thing is, like, it's like all I see is work. Like, you know,
Yeah.
I'm trying my hardest to make a name for myself. I'm trying my hardest to get out of a full-time job, and you know, it's slowly getting there, but there, you know, the grind is still going to be out there, you know, for sure.
It's for a minute.
It is, you know, but like I said, you know, as much as I'm always tired almost every day, I still push through and, you know, try to get what I need to done because, oh my God, there's so much. Like I have 3 or 4 Instagrams. I have 3 YouTube channels, and then now we're adding on another one. And like I said, it's just creating content for all that
and if
shit.
you're doing that properly, it is, you know, to the nth degree, it's posting like 2 times a day.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, nth degree would be like 3 times a day
for sure,
or 4
for sure.
times a day.
Right.
The algorithm is
every
crazy.
single channel on TikTok, on Instagram, on YouTube, on maybe Facebook. I don't know. You should be posting Facebook because you never know where your audience is.
You never know, for sure.
So it's just like that is absurd, even for me, just doing the band and Dre.
Yeah.
I can't imagine doing more. Like this is already a time suck.
No, man,
no, for sure.
It's crazy, you know, and that's majority of my time. You know, it's literally just working. Like it's. You know, I definitely try to find time on the weekends to actually just enjoy and chill, watch a movie or whatever. But majority of the time, I'm just at home now, you know, either, you know, chilling with the baby. The weekends I usually dedicate, obviously, to my fiance and the baby. Otherwise, you know,
it's good. It's good that you have that. I don't have that. Yeah.
No, I know.
Yeah.
You know, but obviously if I got work to do, I got to do it, you know. So if we're playing a video, because obviously when it comes to music videos, I got to plan them on the weekend.
Right.
You know, that's the only way to do it. So of course, when it comes to content like this or music videos, photo shoots, it's weekend only. So at least it's not like it doesn't take up majority of the day. Music videos, you know, obviously they can run quite a bit
But one thing I could like credit him for is like, and I think that's what keeps him going is like his optimism. Like he's very optimistic, very positive. So he believes it's going to work out. And that's why like he knows that if he puts this work in, he's eventually going to leave his 9 to 5.
That's
You're right.
He's
and that's
right.
where we're at.
I agree, and that's what I believe in myself. Like I believed in myself before we even moved down here, and he knows this too.
Right.
You know, so it's like the grind is.
If you're gonna make that fucking move, you fucking better believe in yourself.
That's what I'm saying.
There's you can't have any fucking doubt.
For sure.
Right, exactly.
You can't have any doubt. Otherwise, you'll be gone. And
For sure.
being gone is a good... This is something I've been accepting also. And like, shout out to my girlfriend and my brother because they're the only people holding me here, really. Yeah. Because I think after a while, I realized, acting aside, I realized for music specifically and a lot of creative stuff, you don't got to be here.
Yeah,
You don't have to be here.
You don't.
You don't have to pay 2 times the fucking rent to be here. You don't need to put up with the fucking fake ass people in LA. You don't need to put up with this shit. Leave. And if you're still here after that, then maybe you should be here. But it's just like, I would have been gone. Like I would have been back to Florida, not paying rent. Like I think that's the financially smart decision because I could quit my day job, not pay rent, focus completely on music, and that sounds amazing to me, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But my brother is really into the culinary arts, like
that's dope.
really into food. He's really into drinks, which is why he got this position at the bar that he's at. It's like it's not just a random like I'm gonna pour your beer. Like it's a fine cocktail experience bar, and it's the start of like he's basically put it this way. It's like he's like, you know, obviously we both have music, right? I'm like, right. He's like well, you got acting, right? I'm like, right. He's like, well, this is like me being on set 3 days a week.
Yeah.
And I'm like, understood.
Yeah.
Like you did say like that was he
That's
didn't have
perfect.
to say anything else after that. I was like, I understand now. Because for the while I was just like, it's just a fucking job.
Right.
For
You
sure.
know what I mean? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But I was like, I get it. You know.
Right.
So, anyways, all that to say, like, I don't know. I don't even know what that is to say. Don't be here if you don't need to be here, I guess. But,
I agree.
But you better be sure that
that
you want to be here, and you better be fucking sure in that vision. And for better or for worse, you better just see it through.
No, for sure. I agree. You know, me and you have talked about this before. You know, in DMs and stuff. You know, I reached out to you about shooting a music video and some video content. Obviously, that's still on the table, bro. So
it's gonna happen.
Just let me know. Just let me know. And you know, right now you did mention, you know, you're focused morely on the short form, and I agree with you because, you know, short form is just where it's at right now. You know, long form content is just not as popping anymore, but I think it could be coming back. I hope it does because I'm the long form content guy. So
well, long form like in podcasts is great, right?
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
I don't know what that looks like in music yet. I think
music videos,
looks like
if anything,
but I think music videos deepens the relationship with your current standing fans, right?
Right.
Now, if you don't have that fan base yet, it doesn't make sense.
That's true.
Right.
That's
and
true.
if you don't have enough of a fan base, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But me and my brother have really been toying with this idea, and actually I think we're going to be doing something real soon. We have a friend in the few people in our circle, one of them is a well-refined videographer and cinematographer. So she'll be shooting stuff with us, and she's done a lot of our music videos in the past, but with the intention of it being for short form content. And that does not, I'm realizing now that doesn't just mean shooting vertically.
Yeah, for sure.
Shooting vertically, step one.
I know.
Congratulations, you shot vertically.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, it goes into the editing. It goes into, how are you capturing their attention? Just like we talked about with the captions, right? Like, how are you keeping their attention for as long as possible?
Right.
But still maintaining the world that you're building,
Right.
And whatever that world is for us, it's very dark, it's very moody. It's just like, that's our world for both Gold Souls and for Dre. It's that's how it is.
Yeah,
so,
sure.
So I love the art of a music video.
Yeah.
And maybe one day I'll realize that, I don't know. I had a meeting with Brandman Sean. Shout out Brandman Sean. The other day, and he was the first person to sit me down and be like, and look at our TikTok and stuff like that, and be like, you guys have a really real fan base. And I was like, I never took it. You're on the grind.
Yeah, for
you're
sure.
On the grind. You're on the grind. You're on the grind. You never take a fucking second to step back and just be like, what have I accomplished so far?
Yeah.
And I still don't feel like it's enough. But when he said that, it took me a second. It made me take a step back and be like, oh my God, I've got these people and they want what I'm making. And dude, I am so grateful for you guys. Like for anyone that is watching our band and my stuff, thank you.
Let's go.
It makes me tear up. It made me tear up on the Zoom call I was having with them, because I was just like, wow, I've worked for so many years of my life to make this happen.
Yeah.
And you just work and you work and you work and you don't know when it's going to stop. And it probably, I don't know if it will ever stop. You know what I mean? But sometimes you just need someone to fucking yank you out of there and just be like, hey, dude, shake you.
Yeah,
for
sure.
Look at what you built.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And so maybe a music video is due. Maybe Gold Soul song Bitter End needs a music video. Maybe, whatever it is that's coming up needs a music video.
Right.
And I don't know. We'll explore that when it I think for us it's just like, are the people asking for it?
Yeah, for sure.
Whatever the people are asking for, I think it's kind of at that point. We'll give the people what they're asking for.
Yeah, I agree. You're right. It doesn't make sense to film a full-on music video if nobody's really asking for it. That's why I think everybody is just leading and going into short form content and keeping it quick, either doing one verse or whatever and capturing those people's attention, because obviously we talked about it, people's attention spans suck. Obviously it's just not there. So I do understand, the fact artists really aren't looking for music videos as much as they were, but it sucks because as a music videographer and stuff like that, it's not that I'm losing work, because obviously I got so much on my plate anyways I could be working on, but I love, like you said, you love the artistry of music videos.
It's world building.
And that's what I love about shooting music videos. It's concepts, ideas, effects, everything, that goes into a music video. That's the thing I love about it. And, it does suck that people aren't doing it as much today because short form content, but hopefully it does go back to a route where music videos are definitely popping. Obviously, music videos are always going to be done by the bigger artists because they already got their fan base. But
and they can just throw money too.
Yeah, they just throw money.
Anyone's going to watch.
But obviously, not a lot of us, know famous artists like that. We know individuals like you and some of our other friends that we work with. So like I said, I feel like the bigger artists, they don't have an issue but it's, you know, upcoming artists.
Yeah,
I
think, and I don't know, I might be speaking out of term here, but I just feel like, at least from the artist perspective, like when it comes to well put together videos, it needs to be short form driven. And if you can if you can offer the video service to be towards what is important right now, which is the short form. I guess like genre, I guess. What it really is. Then, but while still accomplishing the brand building and the world building, then there is value.
No, for sure.
You know, so I think that's the important thing right now. I think and then every artist is going to be in different phases. You're going to get the artist who's like well on in their career, who has the fan base, like you said, right?
Exactly.
And they can do the full on horizontal music video that makes sense because it deepens the relationship with the fan. But then you got artists who are either at the beginning or somewhere in the middle, and it's like, well, it doesn't make sense for me to spend money to get a really nice music video that's going to get 3,000 views.
For sure.
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah. No, I agree. Like I said, you know, for me, I just remember shooting horizontal versus vertical. The only thing you're losing is room. Like, honestly, for me, I can shoot a dope-ass music video in vertical. Yeah. It's just you're losing a lot of room. Yep. You know, there's really no difference.
But you're gaining it in the opposite sense.
Yeah, for sure. But like I said, I mean, honestly, I can still shoot a dope-ass, like, vertical music video. Yeah. It's just, you know, cinema, 16:9, you know, widescreen. Like, it's just you lose a lot of room versus vertical, you know?
I think maybe it really just is for the artists with an established fan base right now, and then the smaller fan base is just, or the artists with a smaller fan base is like that is sort of cut out of the equation right now. Yeah. So you could either decide to do it vertical, or you focus on. I think you hit the nail on the head with something you said, but it's like cinema, and like actually doing cinema, because I think. I mean, we all know, like, all the platforms are rewarding long form content right now, right? Sure. So if you're doing stuff that is just engaging and keeping people on the platform for longer, that's all they fucking care about.
For sure.
So if you're doing actual like YouTube pieces that are going to keep horizontal pieces on YouTube that are going to keep people on the platform, then it's going to do fine. You know?
Yeah, and I kind of look at like short form and long form content, kind of like how artists release like singles and albums. Like, it doesn't make sense as like an upcoming artist to release a whole album if you don't have that fan base yet. Yeah. So you release the singles just like how you release vertical content, because that's what's going to gain the traction and build that fan base. And once you got that fan base, now you drop the album. Yep. You know,
you nailed it on the head. Right. Couldn't have said it better.
Yeah. So but
that's exactly why we don't have an album.
Exactly. Yeah. No, so I totally get you. You know, aside from the music, you know, I'm a big anime weeb. You know, and I know you kind of mentioned that in the beginning. I noticed in one of your videos you were actually wearing an Akira shirt. Yeah. You know, so, and even your name is like Japanese inspired, right? So would you say like anime and the Japanese culture kind of inspired you as an artist as well?
I don't know that it inspired me as an artist.
But just as a person?
But as a person, absolutely. Like I said, I mean, I want to live in Japan. Like I'm maybe not full time, but just because I really truly love. Maybe not LA, but I love Pasadena. You know what I mean? Like, I love being in this area. Something about California, just in general, is just absolutely breathtaking to me. For sure. And the industry, all of my industries are here. Like, both industries are here. Mm-hmm. But Japan is completely separate from all of those things. Yeah. And something about that is just like, not just that. I mean, you could get the separation in any other country you went to, right? But something about Japan specifically is just like their minimalism and the respect they have for one another, the respect they have for people who are not even their own kind.
Right.
I mean, spirituality.
I haven't been there, but like,
you haven't?
No, but have you? That's like number one on my list.
I definitely want to go though.
That's like
too.
number one on my list.
I definitely want to go.
You guys have to go.
I love anime, sushi, you know, Kobe, steak, Kobe beef,
video games.
Yes, all of it.
Koi fish, everything. Like,
it's amazing in every sense,
and
for sure. It's also just a complete. Like, if this is you as an American, it just does this. Like, it just turns you on your head, and it's in the most magical way to me. I mean, it's going to be different for every person. You know, some people feel called to different places in their life, but I just so happen to end up with a woman in my life and a brother in my life who share the same love and respect for Japan that,
yeah.
that I do. So, but also, I mean, I think our generation truly grew up on anime and like Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, for sure.
Just that alone. That alone, like Akira left such a legacy. I can only hope to leave a tenth of the legacy that man left, right? Like he influenced generation after generation after generation. But anyways,
we could go on a whole like tangent on it. There's so many life lessons in anime that people don't really understand, and it's like planting the seed as we're growing up. But going back into you, I did some also like deep diving research, and I found that like you actually did voice acting as well. Have you had any big placements, or is it just like an extra bag you keep in your pocket?
It's kind of an extra bag I keep in my pocket. I would love to do anyone wants to hire me. I'll do whatever, but I love voice acting. I love acting in general. Let me rephrase that. I love acting in general. It was actually something that I kind of saw. So this is one of the things that drove me out of Tampa, is that I knew one person. I knew a lot of people in Tampa. I was very well connected in Tampa. I love Tampa, but I only knew one person who had an agent, and it was a modeling agency, and that was it. There was nothing else. And I was like, that's the ceiling for us. Right. And then I moved to LA for music. And within 6 months of being here, I was signed to an acting agency for at least for commercial work. Which I later asked them why they signed me, and they were like, "Honestly, your acting wasn't that good, but your look was great." I'm better now, I promise. I've taken classes, I've done the work. Right, it's like now I've gotten my spots in TV and film and commercial, right, and voice acting. But it was a love that I didn't know existed, that I kind of like side-eyed when I was living in Tampa, but once I got out here and then started getting into the world, I was like, and it was really once I started taking classes that I was like, oh, there's like a craft here, like that you can learn and perfect and practice. And I was like, that's sick. And so it was, I don't think anything will ever replace music for me. I think music will always be my number one, my North Star. It's just who I am. But I didn't know that I had a love for acting as much as I did.
No, I could definitely see even like your facial expressions on your short form content. I can see it. I can see you've been practicing, And I even heard you could do a little bit of a good British accent.
What the fuck?
Can we get a little sample of your British accent? Because I don't think anybody would have expected that. I'm on some Nardwuar shit right here.
Dude,
it's the drink. It's the drink.
The drink is fucking me up right now. All right, so full transparency, my mom is straight from Wales. So I don't want to disrespect her because I am so not from Wales. Love Wales, but I like, I can absolutely if I need to. This fucking thing is what is preventing me. Straight up, if you could play me something, I could do it for you. Absolutely. I'm decent with British accents. I'm decent with Southern accents. I'm decent with New York accents.
Oh, really? Damn.
Just being an East Coaster, being a Southerner, and then being around family who had British accents. I think that's probably why I have those things ingrained in me, right?
Gotcha.
So if I need to, I can do the research, I could do that. But
put you on the spot with the drink. Put you on the spot. He wasn't expecting to do the accent today.
I'm trying to do it. It's gonna come out like New Zealand as fuck.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
No, you're good, bro. So we are coming to the end of the podcast, and we could have kept talking forever.
Oh yeah, you need a part two for sure.
Yeah, we need a part two for sure.
1000%.
Yeah, for sure. But we established Artistry Drop solely to inspire other people, and that's why we bring guests on here. So what advice can you give our viewers on like becoming an artist, a singer, a screamo?
Oh man, all I can say is Nipsey was right. It is a fucking marathon. It's a fucking marathon, and unless you're lucky, which most of us aren't, and that's fine. Like most of us aren't. You're not alone on that island, bro. Like you're not alone on that island. It is a fucking marathon, and the only ones who win are the ones who keep fucking going. And I think that's the only bit of advice I could ever give if I had to give one piece. And I don't even know that I'm qualified to give advice, but if someone was asking me, That's what I would tell them, because I think a lot of people are like, yo, I'm gonna try this, I'm gonna try that, and you should experiment. You should figure out what the fuck you want to do in life. You should never just settle. But once you do figure it out, it doesn't matter what it is. I don't care if it's music, I don't care if it's acting, I don't care if it's engineering, I don't give a fuck what it is. But it's a fucking marathon. Yeah. And you gotta do it for a long fucking time.
Yeah, for sure.
You do.
Damn, that was deep. I'm not gonna lie. I felt some of your acting coming out from that. It was deep, bro. It was deep. Nah, that was dope though. I've never heard that before. So
no, because it's true. Like it's as true. A creative, like you feel like there's so many stopping points where you could have gave up.
Yeah, for sure.
So much.
Yeah, for sure. But like it's the people who persevere and go over those obstacles who really do make it, and who see the success at the end of the road. Yeah. So it's a lot.
Yeah,
sure.
1000%. You there's a million reasons to quit.
Right.
But you have to understand the one reason why you're not gonna.
Right.
For sure.
Exactly.
Yeah. Hey, I still like the advice. That was dope. It was definitely deep, but hey, appreciate you, bro.
Yes,
are there any shout outs you want to give to our viewers out there?
Oh man. Shout out my band Gold Souls. Shout out on that point. Shout out everyone who's listening. We're having a very real moment right now.
Hell yeah.
And shout out Brandman Sean for pointing that out to me. I didn't even realize it until you sat me down and said, bro, I talk to people every single day, and I know what I'm looking at right now, and it's real. So thank you. Shout out Brandman Sean. Shout out to every single person who listens to Gold Souls, whether it's Gold Souls, Dre Tamashi. I don't give a fuck if you're paying attention. Thank you. It means the world to me is an understatement, like truly. So I appreciate y'all and I value y'all. Shout out my girlfriend, Kaylin. She's an amazing artist. Shout out my brother, Ryan, Danny. So Ryan Timfer, that's Danny Gold over in New York, Rose Gold Beats over in Canada, and every single other person that's helped me achieve this dream for all of us together.
Let's go, bro. Hey, love it. Like I said, bro, Dre, thank you so much again for coming on the Artistry Drop. We appreciate you.
Shout out, y'all.
Let's go.
Thank you.
Having new friends in you guys.
No,
really
for sure, bro.
you.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, it's always good starting, new friendships and stuff and like I said, the Artistry Drop is all about that too. Honestly, I feel like we've made friends with like everybody that comes here, and it's dope. So, hey, welcome to the friend circle, bro.
Yeah.
Welcome to the friend circle.
Yeah.
Like I said, thank you once again. This was definitely a dope episode. But guys, we hope you enjoyed this one. If you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, it's Artistry Drop. If you're not following us on Instagram, you can find us at the Artistry Drop. And if you prefer just listening, you can stream all our episodes on all major podcast platforms. Let's go. We will see you guys on the next one. Peace.